October 3rd, 2018 was an unusually warm fall day in Chicago with a high of 88 degrees. In the Chatham neighborhood on the south side, Karen Phillips was feeling good her daughter Kierra was doing so well. Any sense that something was wrong?
No.
Karen describes her daughter as extremely driven, working 2 jobs, driving for Lyft and sorting mail for the post office part-time, trying hard to become a full-time postal employee.
She worked like 3 years temporarily at the post office. She kept saying, I'm gonna go back every year till they hire me.
At age 26, Kierra had a checklist of things she wanted to accomplish.
I'm gonna save up, I'm gonna get me an apartment. She did that. I'm gonna get me a reliable car. She did that.
She was in love with a man she'd been dating for 6 years.
Did you think he was good for her?
Yeah. He had manners, just speaking and never raised his voice in my house.
And Karen says they were now 12 weeks pregnant with a baby Kierra couldn't wait to raise.
We was all excited for her to have a child. She was just so happy.
She showed off her ultrasound picture. No word on whether it was a boy or girl.
You were close.
Yes.
Talked every day?
Every day.
But on Wednesday, October 3rd, her phone didn't ring, and Karen's calls went unanswered starting at 8 a.m.
I knew it was something wrong when her phone kept going to voicemail.
She's an adult in her 20s. Is it possible she just went off on her own?
No. We was too close for her to just run off.
She says Kierra seemed happy and excited about the baby when they last spoke the night before, Tuesday around 7 p.m.
She was just saying that she wasn't going to work too hard because she don't want to endanger the baby, like have a miscarriage.
Kierra had also been careful because she suffered from asthma, which she kept in check with an inhaler. Kierra was off work that day and said she planned to buy groceries. What if she collapsed carrying the bags inside?
Could you see in the window?
No, you couldn't see in the window.
Karen rushed to Kierra's place and banged on the door.
Could you hear anything inside?
Only the TV.
The TV was on, but nobody answered. Now very worried, she called Kierra's boyfriend to bring a key. She said he told her he didn't have one and had not seen Kierra all day, but would come over right away. She also called 911. When police arrived, they took the hinges off the door and went inside.
It was just empty.
Any sign of a struggle?
No.
Anything out of place?
No.
Just a TV left on, the groceries she purchased put away. Their attention turned outside where her car was usually parked. It wasn't there, but it was nearby.
Her car was down the street.
Down the street,
Even
almost.
though there were open spots in front of the apartment.
Yeah. I found that kind of strange right in the beginning, but so much was going on.
Why would she park down the street, especially when she had groceries to carry inside? They called the locksmith to open the car.
What do you see inside?
The purse and the cell phone. But the purse she was using for a lunch bag because it had prenatal vitamins, an apple, an orange, and a water.
Untouched, as though she were heading to work. But Karen found out later Kierra had called out sick and wasn't going to be working that day. Mom held her breath as they checked the truck.
Anything inside?
It was her work stuff, like a work jacket, the little pushing thing that they push the mail around in.
Again, nothing out of place. A life stopped in midstream. The news soon broke that a pregnant postal worker had disappeared without a trace.
Help bring my baby home.
I'm with another reporter and we look right in the car. We can see her purse sitting there open and we're so surprised because why is the car still sitting here? Hadn't been towed anything. We're wondering, had it been fingerprinted? Does it have clues to where she might be?
Her apartment building right here.
Right.
Victims advocate Andrew Holmes went door to door looking for clues. He quickly noticed surveillance cameras nearby.
Video surveillance came from the building here, which is exactly 2 buildings down.
Waldrop was knocking on doors too when she heard a woman's voice.
A woman calls down and says, hey, my husband, he has video. I go upstairs, he's walking us through this video. He's saying, there she is, there she's walking down the street. You see her, she's in her postal uniform. That's her, that's her.
How big is that moment?
It's earth-shattering because I think this is video of her walking towards her car. This may hold a clue to what happened to her.
Why would she walk past her own car?
That remains to be answered. She may have seen someone she knew.
Was she leaving with someone to start another life no one knew about, or being lured to a place of no return?
I'm thinking that she's walking to somebody's car, so all the video that they took off the block, that we'll be able to see exactly what car she got into and, possibly have a license plate.
Why would she be wearing her uniform if she's off work?
I was thinking maybe she decided to go back, maybe she decided to go in, or she just put the uniform on.
Chicago police declined to talk about any aspect of the case. They have not named any suspects or persons of interest. So we showed our reporting to retired Chicago homicide detective Rich Schaff, who now heads the Criminal Justice Department at National Louis University. A young pregnant woman is missing. Who's the first person you want to talk to?
The father of the baby.
What questions for the father of the baby?
Last time you saw her, how did you feel about the baby? Were you thinking about getting married? Did you talk about support?
Karen Phillips had questions for the boyfriend too, a fellow postal employee named Josh Simmons. First, she says Simmons told her he did not have access to Kierra's apartment.
I said, you ain't got no key. And then he was like, no, which Kierra did tell me she had gave him a key.
Karen has even more questions about what she says his behavior was in the days after the disappearance.
Did the boyfriend go door to door with you when you knocked on doors?
No.
Did he hang up the posters?
No.
Did he talk to you?
He left town. I just can't understand. You dated my daughter for 6 years, and then now that my daughter is pregnant and missing, you do nothing.
Karen says he moved to another state with the mother of 2 more of his children. A woman Karen says her daughter was not happy with.
She had a fight with the other baby's mother, and she was banned from coming to his house.
And remember that crucial video evidence? Karen says something began to bother her as she watched the tape play on the news.
It's the mother thing, you know, you just know your child.
That's not her walk.
No, that's not her walk.
Is that her size?
A little bit smaller and a little bit shorter.
She says police confirmed what she feared. That hopeful clue was not a clue at all. That was not Kierra on the tape.
He said it's not. Don't tell nobody that that's not your daughter.
Karen says it turns out another woman who worked for the post office lived nearby, and that was her, not Kierra. And she says police held it back, perhaps to deceive any real suspects into thinking they were chasing a false lead.
Why are you telling us now when the police told you 2 years ago not to say anything?
I didn't say anything because I didn't want to mess up the case. I don't have nothing to lose now. I mean, it's been 2 years. Y'all ain't came up with nothing.
The timestamp on the wrong video showed Wednesday at 11:54 a.m. Karen now figured whatever happened was hours earlier, sometime before her first unanswered call to Kierra around 8 o'clock Wednesday morning, and their last conversation around 7 o'clock the night before, Tuesday.
Karen says she's seen another neighbor's video of Kierra and Simmons leaving her apartment in separate cars on Tuesday, and says police told her they have pictures of the couple going to an ATM.
They said that they had video of Kierra and Josh at an ATM Tuesday.
Did they tell you how much money was taken out?
Kierra withdrawn $400, giving it to him.
Chicago police would not confirm or deny any of this. The ATM video or the video Karen says she saw of Kierra and Simmons leaving in separate cars, and we can't independently verify that information. Again, police have not named a person of interest or suspect, including Josh Simmons, and we found no criminal history in his past. We did find an address for him in Louisiana, but he did not respond to letters we sent there asking for comment. Does Chicago have the resources to go down and surveil him in another state? Would you do that?
Probably not, unless you had something really concrete to cause you to go do that. You know, if you came up with a witness or he bragged to somebody.
If Kierra was murdered, how hard is it to prosecute a murder case without a body?
Well, the body tells you what happened. If it's a homicidal cause of death, that helps you in your prosecution. When you don't have the cause of death or the body, it's difficult to show that there was actually a murder that took place.
Sadly, he says what's not difficult is disposing of a body if you have time before anyone is looking. It now seems whatever happened could have been 20 hours before Karen Phillips called 911.
If Kierra was murdered, how would they get rid of the body that fast?
That's the question for the ages, but you could easily put him in the bottom of a dumpster, wrapped in something, and next thing you know, the body's in a landfill.
Never to be found again.
Never to be found.
Chicago police released a statement saying they're working this investigation with the Postal Inspection Service and the FBI. Postal investigators tell us they've had 400 leads and say they can't imagine the level of pain, grief, and frustration felt by Kierra Cole's family. They're offering a $25,000 reward for information leading to her whereabouts. Karen Phillips is making an appeal to Josh Simmons. What do you want to say to him tonight?
That I wish he would come in and talk to the police. No, I always gave him the benefit of the doubt from day one. Even when people were saying, you know, it's the boyfriend, I'm like, don't do that because we don't know. Because we don't know what happened.
I think Karen's at the realization that Kierra is not coming home. She's not ever going to come home.
Karen tries not to think about what might have happened to her daughter and the grandchild she never got to know. Each day, she prays for a good night's sleep, knowing her nightmare will begin again when she wakes up.
What do you want people to know?
I just want them to know that they wouldn't begin to understand the pain that I go through. Just think if it was your child, your sister, your brother, your mother, and I just really wish somebody would have a heart and just leave an anonymous tip.
Come on, y'all. I'll see you in the comments, beautiful people.